Cleveland-Cliffs to buy AK Steel in $1.1 billion stock swap. Good, Gordon Ginn. Deal would add steel products to one of the largest producers of iron ore pellets. Good gravy. Cleveland-Cliffs agreed to buy AK Steel and $1.1 billion stock swap that adds steel products to one of the largest producers of iron ore. This is a big story. Cleveland-Cliffs said Tuesday it would swap 0.4 of a share worth about $3.36 based on Monday's closing price of $8.41 for each share of AK Steel. Like Scrooge McDuck swims in what are you saying, Joff? Good gravy. All right, so let's go talk about that. So Cleveland-Cliffs to buy AK Steel. There were some stocks that I wanted to look at besides just AK Steel in my list. So here's AK Steel. What else is in here? RYI, click on that. GGB. I want to also look at SID, boom, and CRS. All right, these are all in the in the steel industry, but the big story is on AK Steel. Let's analyze them. Ryerson's undervalued. Companhia, undervalued. Gerdau, undervalued. AK Steel, way overvalued, but the stock's price jumped up as compared because it was getting bought. And Carpenter Tech, CRS, undervalued. Now, RV, good RV on Ryerson's, above the value of 1. Better RV on SID at 1.5. Gerdau, GGB at 1.08. Again, all three above the value of 1. Good long-term holds, with the best one being SID. AK Steel pulled back a little bit because it's under that process of being bought. And look at that, Carpenter Tech also at 1.41. Relative safety on these stocks in this industry, not nearly as good, but Carpenter Tech has got an RS above 1, whereas the others do not. Now, let's talk about what's moving. Well, the industry is on the rock and roll. Well, how do I know that? How about Ryerson? Really above the value of 1, good uptrend. SID, good uptrend. GGB, good uptrend. Even AK Steel, good uptrend. Carpenter's uptrend not as significantly as high as the other RTs. 1, 2, 3, all of the stocks are buy recommendations. They all have good earnings, but watch AK Steel, negative earnings. Again, it's gotten hit. It's gone up, but gotten hit because it's under Cleveland-Cliffs getting bought. All right, let's look at them on a graph. View the stock graph, move that over. There's AK Steel, put on a 3-month graph. Look at that run up. Nicely running above the 20-day exponential moving average. Also broke through a level of resistance on, I don't like the crosshair cursor. I hate the crosshair cursor. On 12/3 of 2019. So broke above. I'm going to put earnings per share on here. Earnings was falling. Let's go put that type as an area. There we go. Earnings was falling, but the news behind that the stock is being bought really catapulted. Wow, thank you, Joey. Catapulted the stock. I was going to say Caterpillar. I had no idea. Good gravy. All right, so even though the earnings per share was riding down, stock was in a channel. Normally when that happens, the stock's price will tend to fall as earnings was falling, as it breaks out of the channel. But this was news driven. This was news driven as the stock's price started moving up. Let's go look at RYI. Keep your eye on RYI. The industry is moving up. Watch the earnings per share. Not really feeling real comfortable with that. The stock is stopping at a level of resistance, but clearly above the 20-day exponential moving average. If I own that, I'm going to put tighter stops, especially knowing that the earnings per share is trending lower. Look at that, all of them. GGB, Steel Basic, nicely moving up. The industry as a whole, the stocks within the industry are moving up, but look at the individual earnings per share. Be careful with those, because if earnings is the engine that drives the stock's price higher, what do you think falling earnings does? All right, so the stocks are still moving up. Be careful, especially knowing that the earnings per share is falling. Now, SID, on the other hand, nicely moved above the 20-day exponential moving average, broke through a level of resistance residing at $3.11. Breaking through, moving up, rising earnings, This is more of the stock that I would look at in this space. This is what I'm looking for on the stock moving in this space. All right, nicely, stock became a buy recommendation. I like the move, especially following earnings moving higher. Same thing with CRI, CRS. Recently, today, just broke through its level of resistance at 53.86, rising earnings, a little bit of give back as far as a wick at the top, buy recommendation. I would just make sure that if I buy into this stock, that it's moving 12 cents higher than the high. All right, so those are my steel stocks. I do like a couple of them, but this is a good way of looking at the stock that made the news and looking at the other stocks within the industry to hone in on probably the better stock within that industry. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Now, if you're new to the software or would like refresher information about the software, click on this Getting Started video right here. Thanks to all of your input, here's a YouTube video that we think would be perfect for you. Click right here. If nothing else, folks, just hit the subscribe button right here.